Hello everyone. I am going to tell you about the importance of English as the first item of BSEP course structure to explain to you why you should learn English at all. You know, English is very closely related to technology. A technical student cannot afford to ignore English. English is very important. It is important because the subject which you are studying is a subject which is steeped in engineering. All engineering branches have names and terms which are in English language.
वहाँ देख के पढ़ाएंगे कैमरे पे तो बेहतरीन एक्सप्रेशन
यहाँ तो दिखाई पड़ा ही नहीं, ठीक है। अच्छा, कैमरे पर बैठे हैं?
नहीं
हाँ
जैसे हम यहाँ देख के बोल रहे हैं
हाँ।
वैसे यहाँ देख के जब बोलेंगे तो बच्चों को लगेगा कि हमको देख के बोल
कहाँ पर खड़े होके
ये कैमरा जो है ना।
अच्छा, ये ओहो, अच्छा ठीक बता।
बोलिए बस पढ़ाइए, इसमें लिखिए, इसमें देखिए, यहाँ मत देखिए।
ठीक बताया आपने। So you should be very careful about it. The origin of engineering in a way is in England, and the language of England is English. So for an engineering student who has come to study any branch of engineering, civil, electrical, electronics, mechanical, computer, English is the medium in which he has to study the subject. A student in literature can study translation. A student in history, because it deals with the activities of human beings, can study the same history in his own language, with names of course changed. But a student of engineering cannot learn this subject in any other language except English. Let us take mechanical engineering and look at the parts of engines. Each part of engine is in English language. Piston, cylinder, carburetor, engine, gear, clutches. Take any part and see closely the name of that part, and you will find that that is in English language. So, if you will have a good knowledge of English, you will understand your subject better. And when you pass out, if you have learnt English well, you can be very successful in the profession which you adopt for your future career. Therefore, I want to emphasize that for a student in civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, computer engineering, and many other branches of engineering, English is indispensable. You cannot do without it. For understanding this topic well and properly, you have to go back in the history of this particular branch of knowledge, which will show you how prior to engineering the world was rural. After that it became urban, and slowly it became technical. In the later part of 18th century, engineering was invented. That was the time when cotton mills were established in Lancashire, Birmingham, and other areas of England. You will ask how people used to put on clothes. Well, if you go into the history, you will find that people used to live in forests and jungles, and they used to cover their bodies with different natural devices. Man's development is the history of man's search after knowledge, to find ways and means how to make his life better, how to make his life comfortable. And in this course of development, he thought about, he discovered, invented devices by which he could live a better life. For example, he discovered that in order to cover the human bodies, clothes can be made, and he knew about cotton, and the cultivation of cotton developed. And the cultivation of cotton was for the purpose of the mills of Birmingham and Lancashire in England, where clothes were spun. Textile factories, cotton factories to make dresses, garments, clothes were set up in these English towns. You know the history of the discovery of America. It was a vast country, and English people ruled over there. In that particular country, cotton was grown by farming, and the bales of cotton were shipped to England, where factories were set up in order to spin clothes, manufacture it, and export it to colonies where English people ruled. That was the beginning of technology. Another landmark event in the direction of development of technology was the invention of a steam engine. We know, we have heard about it, that James Watt was the first person who discovered the power of steam. He was preparing tea, and what he found, that the upper plate of the container moved up and down. So he thought, if the upper cover of this container could move up and down, this means steam has a power, steam has a force. On this, on this particular principle, George Stephenson made railway engine, and railway developed. Trains were made, and people could cover long distances with the help of trains. Transportation of goods with the help of goods trains, and so on and so forth. So what I want to emphasize is this, that the origin of technology and engineering was in England, and it gradually spread over Europe. And a new prosperity heralded the continent of Europe, where people started enjoying the fruits of engineering and technology. I am just trying to project to you what is the importance of English. English is associated with engineering. So for a technical student, English is very necessary. English is necessary for a technical student in order to in order to understand his subject, study his books, write drafts, prepare reports, write a project work, go into the field, use a forum for communicating message about technology to the general public, and thus promote the sale of the goods manufactured by the industries and factories. That is the importance of English. Since most of the consumer goods produced by the industries are used by the middle class people, for whom these industries cater to, and as middle class, the upper middle class, the consumer is well versed in English. It is important that the task of promoting the materials of technology should be done in English language. Therefore, as an engineer, when you move out into the field and try to take up various kinds of promotional activities for the engineering goods and consumer items, you have to use English as a language of communication, because English is the language of the middle classes of people in society, for the professional classes, for the people who will make use of these products manufactured by the company. We must know that in India, English is a second language. It is not a foreign language. French is a foreign language, German is the foreign language, Japanese is the foreign language, Spanish is the foreign language, but English is not the foreign language. It is a language side by side with the regional languages. In, in, the, in all parts of India, the people who are studying in schools and colleges start learning English from very primary classes. And by the time they come to undergraduate classes or diploma classes in engineering, they are supposed to be well familiar with English language. That is why a good knowledge of English is vital for your success in your professional field. Because an engineer has to not only, a person who wants to become an engineer has not only to study the subject, pass the examination, read the books which are in English language, but also has to operate in society. And in order to be very successful in society, it is necessary that he should be well versed in English language. So the importance of English in the first place is that English is a subject which is the medium of communication in engineering education. I am writing this particular point. English is the language for study of technical subjects. This is the first example, a point. An engineer who wants to study engineering, who wants to pass the examination of engineering, who want to compete for a particular job in the field of engineering, if he wants to be successful in society, if he wants to reach out to the people, he must have a good knowledge of English. I mean to say, when I say this, I want to communicate to you that when you study in the diploma, when you study in BTech or in other higher classes, you cannot avoid English language. Therefore, a student who intends to become an engineer, whether at diploma level or at degree level, cannot afford to lose sight of English language, because engineering is born in English language. Engineering has grown in English language. Engineering has reached out to the people in English language. And up today, engineering has reached out to all levels of people in society. If they are working in society, they must be well conversant with English language. Even a farmer has to be conversant with English language. He is no longer a conventional farmer, but is a modern farmer. He no longer uses bullock carts or plows drawn by bullocks. He no longer uses his hand for cultivation of land or for the purpose of harvesting his crops, but he uses machines in order to become successful in society. Therefore, it is very necessary that an engineer who deals with all level of people in society should have a good knowledge of English. When I gave you the example of a foreigner, I wanted to tell you that a farmer uses tractor. There is no other name of a tractor than the tractor itself. It has a spelling, it has a pronunciation. A farmer must speak it. The fuel used by tractor has English connotation. He must know the diesel that will be used in the tractor. Harvester, chemical fertilizers. All these words are in English language. So, the importance of English consists in the fact that it is a means of study and professional knowledge for those who are concerned with the study of technical subjects. Therefore, I want to emphasize that to be successful, to become prominent, to score a mark, to be distinguished, to get a distinction, to achieve acclaim and laurels, a student must know good English. The world of knowledge is closed to you if you are not familiar with English language. The whole world is steeped in English language. The entire knowledge not only of engineering but of other subjects also. For example, let us take geography. The names of oceans are in English language. The names of rivers are in English. If you want to read the atlas, it is in English language. The bays, the mounds, the channels, the canals, all fields of knowledge, not only of science, where formula, the theories, the principles, the rules of scientists are in English language, but also a subject of history, geography and history is in English language. So, it is very important that a student must have a good knowledge of English. Then let us come to the second point. English is the language of all professional fields. Every student who is studying has a job in his mind. There are various sectors where jobs could be found. Take any sector. You see, these days students are appearing in competitive examinations. For example, of banks, for diploma holders, JE examination for junior engineers conducted by Public Service Commission. Jobs in the field of various private sectors, all are all have to appear in an English language paper. They have all to appear in interviews. They have all to communicate in English when they are employed, because all these sectors are managed and owned by good English speaking people. Therefore, in order to get a job, either through an examination or for the purpose of communication or operation in the field, English language is a must. So, if you have a job in mind, you must English. First thing I've written is aviation. I hope you understand the meaning of aviation. What is aviation? Aviation is civil aviation, going by aeroplane from one country to another country, from one place to another place. The moment you enter an airport, you have to communicate in English language. When you go to the various kinds of desks and booths, the person talks to you in English language. Because aviation is a means of travel for people throughout the world, and people who are traveling are people belonging to various nations. So, we will find that from the point of entering an airport to the point of boarding in the plane, it is all English language. When you take your seat in the plane, the cabin crew which comes to serve you, to look after you, to see to your needs, speaks English. Even those countries where English is not spoken, employees who are appointed as cabin crew have to know English. For example, Emirates, which belongs to the Gulf countries, Saudi Arabian Airlines, Iraqi Airways, Yemeni Airways, which ferry passengers from one place to another, their crew members know good English. The only language that they can use inside a plane is English language. Nowadays, many engineers are trying to find a job in various other sectors other than engineering. For example, if any one of you wants to join the aviation industry, the cabin crew sector, or if he wants to become a pilot of the commercial plane, if he wants to join the an airlines in some other capacity, he has to have a good knowledge of English because there are international passengers, and these situations require that a person who is employed should know good English. If you know English, you have many job openings. You can become a cabin crew, you can work at the airport, you can work as in the management, you can work in the wireless and communication sector. If you want to pass on a message to a pilot who is flying the plane, you have to do it in English because you don't know which country he belongs to. And we all will know very well that all countries use English as an international language. So what I mean to say is this, that if you are thinking of jobs in various sectors, your options are open. And if you want to join this sector, you have to know English language. Then let us take tourism. Nowadays, and even in the past, people wanted to go on tours, on religious pilgrimages, for sightseeing, for the sake of adventure, or for meeting people. You find a number of tourists in your own country. Go to any important city, go to Varanasi, go to Bombay, go to Delhi, go to Madras or Chennai. You will find that go to Agra, where many tourists come to see Taj Mahal, to Delhi, where people come to see Red Fort, or want to come to Delhi because they must land at Delhi in order to travel to other parts of India. In tourism sector, English is the predominant language. For example, when I visited historical places myself, I found that there were travelers or tourists from countries like Germany, country like Japan, country like Belgium, Norway, Switzerland, Italy, Greece, Arab countries. They know English language. And if you want to join tourism, for example, if you want to become a guide at Taj Mahal, you have to know English, because English is known by all and it is understood by all. So when you want to explain to a foreigner about the importance of a historical place, you have no choice except to speak in English. Because although he may be speaking a different language, he speaks English, he understands English. His knowledge of English is full. So you get a job as a guide, tourism guide of historical places, to explain who built it, who lived here, what is its history, what is its importance, what is its beauty, what place it occupies in the history of that particular country. So, you can see how English language is helping you to find a job in a special sector, in a particular sector, where the doors were closed to you because you did not know English, but now it is open to you because you know English. So if you want to increase your chances of employment, you should learn English well. Then let us come to industry. Now, 21st century is the age of industrialization. Industry is the core of the economy. It provides gadgets and tools to make the life of the people comfortable. It is a manufacturing sector. In the modern times, our life has changed and has become dependent on technology. Our life is really regulated by technology. Right from the early hours of morning, we are dependent technology. And there is a device which is manufactured where you can get a job provided you know English language. We get up early in the morning with the ringing of alarm bell of a table watch, nowadays of mobile or similar other thing. We are living in an industrial age. We no longer live in the pre-industrial age where people used to rise from their beds, get up early in the morning with the chirping of birds. No. Alarm clock or bell rises you from the bed. Then you no longer prepare your breakfast with firewood but gas, LPG gas cylinders, oven, electric oven, product of industry, product of engineering, product of technology. You can get a job in those sectors where these goods are manufactured and produced. For example, you can become a mining engineer. You can become a petroleum engineer. You can work in a gas field because LPG gas cylinders are provided to people and there is a sector to give employment. So, what I mean to say is that if you know English, your chances of getting a job brighten. Look at the life of a man, how it is dependent on technology and thus on English. After taking the breakfast, the man travels from his home to bus stand and then to the place of destination. He travels in a bus, in a tram, in a car, in a train, which is the product of engineering. And there are people working in these sectors, and there is a huge scope of employment in these modes of transportations. which are produced by industries. So you reach an office, you use a computer. You can get job as a worker in software industry in English. The language of the computers is English. You cannot escape English in any form. So it is important that you should know English. And so you can see how English has spread in all fields, in all sectors. That is the quality, that is the beauty. Then we take another aspect, medicine. As a technical graduate, you work in pharmaceutical industries. There are machines producing various kinds of drugs and medicines. As an engineer, you work in various kinds of labs, for example, X-ray plants. Now this technology is very much there in the field of medicine and health. Robots are operating, are doing operations. They are working in hospitals. So your chances of employment in a hospital increase if you know English language. The maintenance of hospitals, the upkeep of the hospital, the electrification of hospitals, various kinds of labs in hospitals, use of computers in hospitals, but only if you know English. Various tools and devices for checking your blood pressure, for checking, for making other kinds of tests are in English language. Hospitals are using online methods of contacting the patients and the doctors. A doctor is interviewing a patient, is giving attention to the patient online. On one TV screen is the patient, on another TV screen is the doctor. The payment is digital. You have a chance, a job opportunity in this sector also. So what I mean to say is that your chances of employment increase if you know English language. There are various kinds of lab in a hospital or in a doctor's clinic, and they require a technician or a person well versed in English language to be able to handle and operate it. So your job chances are improving with the knowledge of English. And diplomacy. How do you become a diplomat? By passing a civil service examination. And all of us know that in these higher examinations, English is not only a qualifying paper, but also a means of appearing in the examination, facing the interviews, and to possess good knowledge of the subjects, of all subjects. If you want to become a diplomat or an ambassador, you should have good knowledge of English. There are embassies in other countries. Each country has an embassy. For example, in India, if you go to Delhi in Chadakyapuri, it is a diplomatic enclave where ambassadors and diplomats and consuls live. They are foreigners. They come to India where a particular language or a second language, English, is used. For example, a German diplomat is coming fresh from his country to live in India, to work in India. He has to know English. He will not be placed in this country if he does not know English by his government. A person from Portugal, a Portuguese ambassador, although his native language is Portuguese, but he has to have a knowledge of English language in order to operate in the Indian situation. So what I mean to say is this, that with the knowledge of English, you widen your scope of employment and you are sought after everywhere. There are so many countries and all countries don't know English, but the nationals of these countries who want to join the diplomatic service have to have a good knowledge of English language so that they can work in those countries where their native language is not in use. Therefore, the importance of English becomes very great for those who want to widen the scope of their employment. Buddha Polytechnic College keeps in mind the needs and requirements of its students. It is an institution which just does not give you knowledge and information or professional competence. It also prepares you for employment. It makes efforts to draw companies to conduct job drives so that students studying in this institution can get a job as they pass out from diploma or from BTech. The training and placement cell of this college makes earnest efforts to invite placement committees who make recruitments for various sectors in the job market. And just as I have explained to you that these various fields of profession which offer employment to engineers operate in English, these placement committees which come and visit Buddha Institute of Technology or Buddha Polytechnic College require that every student must have a good proficiency in English language. I would therefore emphasize that a student should start having proficiency in English language from the time they join this institute under the guidance of teaching faculty or language lab which has been established by Buddha Polytechnic College and Buddha Institute of Technology for giving good communication skills to the students. थैंक यू वेरी मच। तो भाई इसको स्टॉप करना है, बंद हो गया। हेलो सर।